A billionaire CEO disguised as an ordinary employee walked quietly through the dim hallways of his company late at night. He thought he had seen and experienced everything in business, but nothing prepared him for what he discovered in the supply closet that night. There, hidden among dusty mops and half-empty buckets, was a janitor fast asleep, his head resting on a pile of cleaning rags. What seemed at first like laziness turned into a revelation that would shake the CEO's heart, change the company forever, and leave an unforgettable lesson about humanity and leadership. And it all began in that tiny, forgotten room. The CEO, Ethan Collins, had grown tired of numbers, reports, and boardroom speeches that never touched reality. His company was worth billions, yet he felt increasingly distant from the very people who made it run. That was why he decided to go undercover, to experience life as an ordinary worker in his empire. He wore faded jeans, a simple shirt, and a cap pulled low to cover his face. No one in the building knew that the man quietly sweeping floors and fixing broken equipment was the very person who signed their paychecks. On his third night working as an anonymous employee, Ethan noticed the supply closet door slightly ajar. A faint sound of heavy breathing made him curious, so he pushed it open. Inside, he saw an older man, maybe late 50s, slumped against the wall, arms wrapped tightly around his chest as if trying to keep warm. At first, Ethan's instinct was to wake him and scold him. A janitor sleeping on the job seemed unprofessional. But when he stepped closer, he noticed the exhaustion written on the man's lined face, the faint tremble of his hands, and the threadbare shoes at his feet, nearly torn at the edges. Something inside Ethan told him this wasn't about laziness, it was about survival. The next morning, while disguised as his undercover role, Ethan struck up a casual conversation with the man during their shift. The janitor introduced himself as Miguel Alvarez, a widowed father of 2 grown children. His wife had passed away years ago, and though his kids tried to help, Miguel never wanted to be a burden. He worked double shifts, slept only a few hours, and sometimes caught moments of rest wherever he could, including that cramped supply closet. The more Ethan listened, the more he realized Miguel carried stories of quiet sacrifice, how he skipped meals so his children could eat, how he sold his wedding ring to pay for his daughter's tuition, how he never complained even when his body begged him to stop. Ethan couldn't shake off the weight of Miguel's story. That night, lying in the tiny apartment he had rented for his undercover experiment, he replayed Miguel's words. All the corporate meetings, all the strategies, and all the quarterly reports felt meaningless compared to the raw humanity he had just witnessed. The man was invisible to everyone, yet his heart was larger than any profit margin. The second chapter began when Ethan decided he could no longer remain a silent observer. He returned to the closet the following week, this time with a thermos of hot coffee and a sandwich. Miguel's eyes welled with tears as he accepted them, thanking Ethan as if he had been given a treasure. Slowly, their conversations deepened. Miguel shared not just his struggles but also his dreams, how he wished he could one day retire with dignity, maybe travel to see the ocean, maybe buy back the ring he had once pawned. Ethan felt his chest tighten with guilt. He had the power to make this man's life easier, yet Miguel never once asked for help, or the undercover CEO's heart shifted from sympathy to determination. At the end of his month undercover, Ethan revealed his true identity in the company's staff meeting. The room went silent as he stepped forward, no longer the man in faded jeans but the CEO everyone recognized. Miguel froze, stunned as Ethan walked toward him. In front of hundreds of employees, Ethan shared what he had discovered, that greatness in a company wasn't found only in boardrooms, but in the unseen sacrifices of people like Miguel. He announced immediate changes: better pay for staff, more rest breaks, scholarships for employees' families, and recognition for those who gave their all without ever being noticed. Then, Ethan turned to Miguel. He handed him a golden plaque that read, "The heart of this company." But more than that, he offered Miguel something priceless: retirement with full benefits, his daughter's tuition paid in full, and a trip for him and his family to the ocean he had always dreamed of seeing. Miguel tried to speak but was overcome with emotion, tears streaming down his face. The employees erupted in applause, not just for Miguel, but for the lesson they had all learned that day: behind every company logo are people whose quiet sacrifices build its foundation. That night, Ethan walked through the same hallways where he had once felt disconnected. This time, he didn't see numbers or faceless employees. He saw stories, lives, and hearts that beat with resilience and hope. And in the silence of his office, he realized something he wished he had known long before: that true leadership is not about commanding from above but about listening, caring, and lifting others up. The story of the janitor in the supply closet spread across the company, then across the world. People who once felt unseen suddenly believed their efforts mattered. And Miguel, once just another tired janitor in a forgotten room, became a symbol of strength, humility, and the simple truth that one person's quiet struggle can change the heart of even the most powerful leader. By the end, what Ethan discovered wasn't just a man asleep in a closet. He discovered the meaning of humanity, the power of compassion, and a reminder that sometimes the smallest, most hidden corners of life hold the greatest lessons of all.